The first story. The sand was cool beneath my bare feet, the salty air thick with the scent of seaweed and the distant hum of the ocean. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, casting long, eerie shadows across the beach. I was alone, enjoying the solitude, the only sound the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. But the serenity was shattered by a sudden piercing shriek. It came from the direction of the abandoned lighthouse, perched precariously on the cliffs overlooking the beach. Curiosity piqued, I started walking towards the lighthouse, the sound of the waves growing fainter with each step. The lighthouse loomed before me, its white paint peeling, its windows dark and empty. The shriek echoed again, closer this time, sending shivers down my spine. I hesitated, but the pull of the unknown was too strong. I pushed open the heavy, rusty door and stepped inside. The air inside was thick and stale, the smell of salt and decay clinging to my nostrils. A single flickering oil lamp cast dim shadows on the dusty floor and cobweb-draped walls. The shriek came again, this time from the top of the lighthouse. I climbed the narrow, winding staircase, each step creaking ominously. As I reached the top, the lamplight revealed a horrifying sight. A young woman, her clothes torn and bloody, stood by the window, her face contorted in a silent scream. Her eyes, wide and vacant, stared out at the vast ocean. "Help me," she whispered, her voice raspy and strained. "He is coming." I tried to speak, to ask her what was wrong, but no sound came out. I was frozen in place, paralyzed by fear. The woman's eyes flickered to me, a flicker of hope in their depths. But it was quickly extinguished as a deep, guttural growl echoed from the darkness below. The woman turned, her face twisted in terror, and pointed towards the stairs. "He is here," she whispered, her voice barely a breath. The growl grew louder, closer. I could feel the air around me growing colder, the shadows lengthening. The woman's scream echoed once more, a chilling wail that seemed to pierce my very soul. I turned to run, but it was too late. A hulking figure emerged from the darkness, its eyes glowing like embers in the gloom. It was a creature of nightmares with razor-sharp teeth and claws, its body covered in scales and slime. The woman screamed again, this time in agony, as the creature lunged, its claws tearing into her flesh. I watched in horror as it devoured her, its guttural growls filling the air. Then it turned its gaze upon me, its eyes burning with a cold, predatory light. It moved towards me, its steps slow and deliberate, the air around it thick with the scent of death. I backed away, my heart pounding in my chest, but there was nowhere to go. The creature was closing in, its jaws opening wide, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. I closed my eyes, waiting for the inevitable, the taste of fear filling my mouth. But it never came. Instead, I heard a loud crashing sound, followed by a piercing shriek. I opened my eyes to see the creature lying on the floor, its body contorted in pain. A large wave, whipped up by a sudden storm, had crashed through the window, dragging the creature into the depths of the ocean. I stumbled out of the lighthouse, the storm raging around me. I ran towards the beach, the cold, salty wind whipping at my face, the roar of the waves filling my ears. I did not look back. I did not want to see the lighthouse, the woman, or the creature. I just wanted to escape, to forget the terror that I had witnessed. But as I ran, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The storm seemed to be growing stronger, the waves crashing against the shore with a fury that I had never seen before. And I could have sworn I heard a faint guttural growl coming from the depths of the ocean, a sound that seemed to whisper a promise of revenge. The second story. The salty spray stung my face as I clung to the rope ladder, my knuckles white with the effort of pulling myself up. The small fishing boat bobbed precariously on the waves, a tiny speck against the vast inky expanse of the ocean. The storm had been brewing for hours, the sky a canvas of angry gray, and now the fury of the sea was unleashed. My grandfather, weathered and strong, had insisted on heading out to check their nets, despite the warnings from the other fishermen. He'd said, "The sea is my life, and it's never too rough for a man who knows its ways." But I, his grandson, felt a knot of fear tightening in my stomach. As we battled the waves, the storm seemed to grow more intense. The boat was tossed like a toy, the wind howling like a banshee. Suddenly, a monstrous wave crashed over the bow, sending us reeling. I lost my grip on the ladder and was thrown into the churning water. Panic seized me as I was tossed about like a rag doll. The water was freezing, and the darkness was absolute. I fought against the current, trying to reach the surface, but it was like swimming against a wall of water. Then, I felt it, a cold, slimy touch on my leg. Terror froze me. I thrashed, trying to escape whatever was clinging to me, but it tightened its grip. A deep guttural sound, like a growl, echoed through the water, sending chills down my spine. I kicked and screamed, but my voice was swallowed by the storm. Then something pulled me down into the inky blackness. I felt a sharp pain in my arm, a searing agony that dripped through my body. I struggled, but it was no use. I was being dragged, pulled deeper and deeper into the abyss. As I sank, the water seemed to grow colder, the pressure crushing my chest. I saw flashes of light, a kaleidoscope of colors, and then everything went black. I woke to the sound of my grandfather's frantic voice. I was back on my boat, wrapped in a blanket, my arm throbbing with pain. He was telling me how he'd managed to pull me from the water, how he'd fought the storm to get me back to the shore. But as I looked at the churning sea, I knew the truth. Something had pulled me down, something monstrous and unseen. It had left its mark on my arm, a jagged scar that would forever remind me of the terror that lurked beneath the waves. My grandfather never spoke of the storm again, but every time I look at the ocean, see not just its beauty, but the darkness that lies beneath. I know that the sea is not just a source of life, but a place of shadows, a place where nightmares come to life. And I know that it will always hold a piece of me, a part of me that will forever be lost in its depths.